Hello everyone, myself Srivali, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Cybersecurity and Data Science in MLR Institute of Technology. Today we are going to discuss about sets, relations, functions. So out of this, first let us discuss about what is meant by set. First let us introduce about the sets, then we'll go to the relations. So in this overview of presentation includes introduction to sets and notations, how to represent the sets, that is representation of sets, and also what are the types of the sets. So here today the overview of presentation includes these three concepts which are related to the sets. So here first let us understand what is meant by set. So here the definition of the set is, a set is a well-defined collection of objects. So here it is a well-defined. So basically we can understand that collection of objects. So here, but the collection of objects which are well defined means we cannot consider, so any collection of objects are set. So it must be well defined. So the examples of the set is planets of our solar system, colors of rainbow, capital cities and all vowels. So here, if you understand this, the sets are introduced by or discovered the German mathematician and his name is G. Cantor. So he introduced the concept of sets and his name is G. Cantor, who is a German mathematician. And here this is the collection of objects, we can treat it as sets here. So planets of our solar system. So we already know the solar system planets. What are those as Jupiter, Earth, Mars, Pluto, Saturn. We have different types of planets. So those are well defined. So here altogether we have 9 planets in our solar system. So those 9 planets are well defined. Means if I want to include any planet which I want to include, I cannot include in this solar system. Why? Because these 9 planets, these are well defined. These are already proven that these are well defined. So we cannot include our wish on our wish. Next also we have colors of rainbow. So we already know the colors of rainbow are VIBGYOR. So here we have 7 colors, those are called as well defined and we cannot include any other color in this. Next we also have some capital cities. So any capital cities we can take it as here, these are well defined, which we can treat it as a here set. And all vowels, even all vowels also. So here basically we have vowels like A, E, I, O, U. So I cannot include yes or R in this vowels. So here only these 5 alphabets are called as vowels. I cannot include any other alphabet in this vowels. Why? Because they have already proven that they are well defined. Means here altogether we can say that the sets are nothing but they are well defined collection of objects. So here, so till now I have shown you here what are well defined, which are treated as sets here. Then here let us go to the concept which are not sets here. So for example, favorite food of children. So favorite food of children means here it can vary from person to person, children to children. I cannot include that. This is called a well-defined collection of objects. Even collection of pet animals. So few will have some pet animals like dog, cat. So few animals also will be there for others. Pet animals like elephant. So like tiger. So like this, they'll have some collections also. Means it can vary from person to person. And even coins also, collection of the coins. So that coins can vary from person to person. Even sea animals here. So this is sea animals. So which can vary from person to person. So like this here, these we cannot say that these are the well-defined objects. That's why these are not called as sets. They are not sets. So how to represent this set? What is the notation of the set? So elements of a set are usually denoted by lowercase letters. So while the sets are denoted by capital letters of English alphabet. Means here whichever the elements you are considering here, we have to denote with that set elements are with lowercase letters and that particular main set will denote with the capital letters of English alphabet. So the symbol E, so this is actually we can call it as epsilon. The name is here epsilon. So this indicates the membership in a set. Means whenever you are writing like this, so here it indicates that this is a membership of that particular set. If X is an element of a set A, then we can write X belongs to A. Means, for example, this X, we are considering it in set A. So that means this is an element in the set A. That element set A, you can say that it belongs to, or it is a membership of the set here. So the symbol epsilon is read as it is a member of, or is an element of, or it belongs to. So in the same way, for example, in the previous example, we have seen some types of the sets like planets of our solar system, colors of rainbow, capital cities, and also all vowels. So let us consider one example like all vowels. What are vowels here? A, E, I, O, U. So these are nothing but elements. We can say that these are the elements of the vowels. So I am representing the elements with the small letters, and that total set I am representing with one capital letter. Like for example, so all vowels, no, let us suppose consider this is as denoted with the capital V. So I can write it here belongs to, or you can write it V is equal to A, E, I, O, U. These are the elements. Now if I observe here, A is a member of V, E is a member of V, I is a member of V, O is a member of V, and also U is a member of V. Means here I can write it in the representation, symbolical representation, like here A belongs to V, or E belongs to capital V, I belongs to capital V, O belongs to capital V, U also belongs to capital V. Means here whenever you are using this epsilon symbol, it doesn't mean that here this is not an element here. It means that it is an element of the particular vowels. Means it is a membership of the particular set. So sets always represented with capital letters. The elements of the set are always represented with the small letters. And how you can represent that element is belonging to that particular set is with the help of epsilon symbol. So here, so if you are taking epsilon means it is a member or it is a membership. But if you are taking here membership, it is not a membership, means you can represent it simply with epsilon strike. So here the symbol epsilon does not, that means does not belongs to, we can also write it as here, we can also pronounce it as does not belongs to. So here the symbol here, it is used to indicate that that particular object is not in the given set. So here in the previous example we have taken A, E, I, O, you know. So in the same way if you take here R. So R is not belonging to capital V, that is vowels. Then you can write it like this. You can represent it like this here. R does not belongs to, R is not an object or is not a member of the particular set V. So here the symbol does not belongs to is read as it is not a member of or is not an element of. So if X is an element of set A, then we will write X here belongs to A. So if X is not an element of set A, then we will write X does not belongs to A. So here not is there. If X is not an element of set A, then we will write here does not belongs to A. So for example, colors of rainbow. This is also one of the example that we have seen till now, just now here in the sets. So the examples are colors of rainbow, we have seen, even all vowels, capital cities, planets of our solar system we have seen. So in the same way here colors of rainbow are Vibgyor. So if I want to represent that this V is belonging to C, symbolically you will represent this symbol epsilon. I belongs to means I belongs to C. So B belongs to C means you can write epsilon. Means everything you can, instead of writing it is a member of, it is not a member of, is not an element of, is an element of. So instead of that you can simply write it as here epsilon which belongs to, does not belongs to means this epsilon strike off in the middle. And how to represent this sets? So here sets can be represented in two ways. One is roster method and the next one is set builder method. So basically we have one more method also which is called as descriptive method, but that is not mainly used here in the representation of sets. So we will be using mainly only two types of the sets, that is what roster and set builder method. So here what is meant by descriptive method, let us see that also first and then we'll move to the roster and set builder method. So here descriptive method means nothing but here where you are representing everything is an element, whichever the elements are included in the vowel, even that elements we are representing in the form of a descriptive manner. So let us suppose here I want to know the set of the people who are born in the month of December. So here maybe we can have more than 25, more than 20, more than 10 also. But instead of writing all those names in within the flag brackets like this, you instead of representing that elements, simply you can write it in descriptive manner like the set of the people, the set of the people who are born in the month of December. So instead of writing all the names, all the students or the person's names, the people who are born in the month of December, so you can write simply here the descriptive manner like the set of the people who are born in the month of December. This is like descriptive method. Next we have roster method. So here what is meant by this roster method? So here the set is represented by listing all the elements comprising it, and the elements are enclosed within the braces and they are separated by commas. So that is nothing but here roster method is nothing but you always represent the elements of the set within the flower braces, and those elements must be separated by commas. Means if you are taking vowels, means A comma, E comma, I comma, O comma, U. Means always the elements will be represented in the form of the flower braces and also they are separated with the commas. So is equal to the main set where we are representing in the form of capital letter. So example 1 here we have, let n denote the set of the first 5 natural numbers. So here I am denoting n with, so I am denoting this natural numbers here, all the natural numbers with n. So here capital N is equal to set of natural numbers. First 5 natural numbers means what here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are elements of the set n and I am representing these elements with capital letter N. So here like set of vowels, just now I said no, set of vowels in English here, alphabets. A is equal to A, E, I, O, U. These are the elements here and this is the main set which I am representing with capital letter A with vowels here. Means the roster method means here, so we can say that the elements always represented within the flower braces which are separated by commas. Next we have set builder method. So here we will be writing in the form of a rule. So that means instead of writing that elements, we will represent that elements also in the form of a rule. So let us suppose here example 1, the set of natural numbers less than 30. So the set P in set builder form, how you can write it is here. So set of natural numbers less than 30. Instead of writing 1, 2, 3, 4 like that so on up to 29. So you can simply write it in the form of a rule. We can represent in the form of a rule. That is what set builder method means. Here set P, I am representing the total set with capital letter P. And here I am writing here the numbers. What are the numbers we are taking? Natural numbers. So, and here that numbers I am representing with, let us suppose x, such that x less than 30 means this x can be anything which cannot be more than 30. It cannot be equal to 30 also. So, I am taking yes in the form of a rule I am considering here x which is less than x such that x is, this is nothing but x such that this is the name, like we can pronounce it as such that. So here such that x less than 30. So and x belongs to which type of numbers it is, whether it is integers or whole numbers or anything, even numbers or natural numbers. So they have already clearly mentioned natural numbers which are less than 30. So here you can write simply x such that x less than 30 and x belongs to natural numbers. Means always that x should belongs to natural numbers. In the same way we have another example like set of even numbers less than 50. So here even numbers less than 50. Here the total set I am denoting with capital Q. X such that it should be x less than 50. So as it is x less than 50, here I have written like that. But as they are even numbers, definitely it should be x by 2. And x belongs to natural numbers. Means from the natural numbers only, here I will be dividing with 2. Whenever I divide with 2, so you will get the even numbers. Next we also have types of sets. So what are these types of sets? So here we have different types of sets like finite set, infinite set, equal set, equivalent set, cardinality of a set. Like that we have different types of sets. So let us see one by one. First one, finite set here. So here, if a set contains finite number of elements, then that set is referred to as finite set. So here, if a set is containing some finite number of elements, which is nothing but some limited number of elements or countable number of elements, then we can say that we can consider it as finite set. Means if you are considering example AEIOU, yes, I can able to count it. We have limited. So I can say that that is a finite set. For example, we have natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here, if I take n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then I can say this is a finite set. Now we also have infinite set here. If a set contains infinite number of elements, then set is referred to as infinite set. So let us suppose the same natural numbers, but here I am not giving that up to 5. It can be so on. So it can be so on means here I cannot tell that what is the last number. Then I can say this is called infinite number of elements, that is infinite set. So example 1, 2, 3 so on. It is an infinite set. Yes, that is what. So that the set of all natural numbers, even numbers come under infinite set. Set of all integers or set of natural numbers, set of even numbers or odd numbers. Everything will comes under here infinite set. Why? Because we can't say that what is the last number. So if you can able to count it, we can say that is called finite set. Next we have singleton set. If a set consists of only one element, then that set is referred to as singleton set. Means here let us suppose if I have n is a set where I have only one element within the flap basis, which is called only one element, which is a membership of that element, then I can say that particular set is called singleton set. A set with only one element, we can call it as singleton set. Here example A is equal to 1 or B is equal to 2, something. Next we have equal set. If A and B are sets such that every element of A is an element of B and every element of B is an element of A, then A and B are said to be equal sets. Means let us suppose here we have two sets A and B. So what they are saying here, every element of A, means for example A is equal to I have 1, 2, 3. So every element of and B is equal to 1, 2, 3. So here every element of A and every element of B is an element of A. Then we can say A and B are said to be equal sets. That means here, so you should have the same elements in both the sets. So same elements means if I have 1, 2, 3 elements in set A, also you should have 1, 2, 3 elements in the set B. So then only we can say that A and B are called equal sets. So if A and B are equal, then we can write A is equal to B. So let us suppose here we have one example that A is equal to 2, 4, 6 and B is equal to, if you carefully observe here, B is equal to means it is in the form of a set builder method. So just now we have discussed that here representation of the sets, like we can represent the sets in either in roster method or set builder method, or even we have one more which is not that much useful here, descriptive method. So like here we have the first set here which is used, which I have represented in the form of here roster method, and the second set we have represented in the form of set builder method. Now set A is equal to 2, 4, 6, this is like in a roster method, and set B is equal to x belongs to z integers such that 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 7, x is even, always x is even. Here A belongs to B and B belongs to A, so equal to B. So first let us find out what is the B elements. Why? Because as it is in the form of the set builder method, you need to find out whether what are the elements we have, and you need to check whether that elements are equal to the A or not. Then only we can say that A is equal to B. A and B are called equal sets. So here B is equal to x belongs to integers, and here that elements must be less than or equal to 7, which is called even number, which is nothing but here what you will get 2, 4, 6. It should be less than or equal to 7. As 7 is not an even number, you cannot include that. So only you will get the elements 2, 4, 6, which are equal to here set A 2, 4, 6. So as we have the same elements in A and B, we can say that A and B are called equal sets. So you can represent like this: A is equal to B. So this is about equal set. Next we have empty set. A set with no elements in it is called empty set, or also called as null set. So a null set is denoted by the symbol here with no elements, flap braces, or you can represent it with 5 also. Means here, let us suppose set A. Here I did not get any element where I can say that no element is a membership of the A. No element does belongs to the A. Then as I did not get any element within the flower braces, so here I can say a set with no element. If no element is there, we can say that that set is called empty set. So instead of representing with flower braces, empty flower braces, you can also write it as here 5. Next we have equivalent set here. So what is meant by equivalent set? Two sets A and B are said to be equivalent if they have same number of elements. So here same number of elements. So just carefully observe here, we have equal set and now we have equivalent set. What is the difference between equal and equivalent set is? So equal set is whether all the elements which are existing in the A is there in the existing in the B or not. But whereas equivalent set, the number of elements should be same in both the A and B sets. So two sets A and B are said to be equivalent if they have the same number of elements. Let us see one example here. Set A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. So what is the cardinality of A? That is, cardinality will represent in the form of n of A. So this, what is the cardinality of A here? How many elements we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. The cardinality of A is 4. And B is equal to PQRS. The cardinality of B is 1, 2, 3, 4. So as we have the same number of elements in both the sets A and B, then I can say that A is equivalent to B. A and B are equivalent sets. Next we have subset. If every element of set A is also an element of set B, then A is called the subset of the set B. So if every element of set A, let us suppose here 1, 2, 3, A is equal to 1, 2, 3. So if every element of set A is also an element of set B, means here, for example, B is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. So if every element of set A is also an element of set B, then A is called subset of B. Why? Because if you observe 1, 2, 3 elements, these all the elements which are presenting in the set A, that is every element in the set A are contained in the B, are existing in the B. So then we can say that A is subset to B. But we cannot say that B is subset to A. Why? Because we have extra element 4 that is not existing in the set A. So then I can't say that B is a subset of A. But here in this case, A is only subset to B. So let us suppose here, this is like symbolical representation of the subset here. So let us suppose A is equal to 1, 5, 7. So which is a subset of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So is A is a subset of B or not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 we have. So in the B, 1, 5, only 1, 5, 7 are there in A. So just observe here whether all these three elements are existing in the set B or not. Okay, so 1, 5, 7. So here I have 1, here I have 5, here I have 7. So as every element in the set A is existing in the set B, then I can say that here it is A is subset to B, but B is not a subset of A. Now let us see here, we have some notes also, like you have to remember some points which comes under note. So if A is a subset of B, then it is possible that A is equal to B. To emphasize this fact, we will write that here A is equal to, or A is subset to B. So if A is contained in the B, then we also state that B contains and write B is subset of A. That is nothing but here, not only A is subset to B, that is if A is contained in B, we can also have B contains in A. Then if B contains in A, you can write it, represent it symbolically like B is subset to A. And we have one more point also to remember. Every set is a subset to itself, but no set is a member of itself. So every set, you can consider any set, whatever you have some elements. Every set is a member of itself, but no set it is a member of itself here. So empty set always is a subset of every set. And we have the next concept like proper subset. A set A is called a proper subset of the set B if A is a subset of B and if B is not a subset of A. That is nothing but here, for example, here I have A is equal to 1, 2, 3 and B is equal to here 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, if you observe, A is a subset of B, but B is not a subset of A. So then we can say that it is called A is said to be proper subset of the B if every element of A belongs to the set B, but there is at least one element of B which is not in A. At least one element. Here if you observe, this 4 is not there in set A. So then if A is a proper subset of B, then we can write it as here. So here simply you can write it here. This is not there. Equality symbol is not there. That is only the difference between subset and proper subset here. So next we have one more note here. Every set is a subset to itself and empty set is also a subset of A. So here the subsets empty set and A are called improper subsets of A. So here we can, if you consider set A here, every set is a subset to itself and also empty set is always subset of here A set. And here the subsets empty set and A are called, we can say that both are called improper subsets. And also we have another one next, superset. So if A is a subset, then we can say that B is called the superset of the set A. See here. As we have considered examples, now here A is equal to 0, 1, 3, B is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here A is obviously is called 0, 1, 3 are existing in the B. So A is called the subset and here B we can call it as a superset of the A. Next we also have universal set. So a set containing all the objects or elements and of which all other sets are subsets, then it is denoted by U. So that is nothing but here, if you are combining all the sets where you are getting some original set, we can say that it is universal set. See here, example if A is equal to 0, 1, 3, B is equal to 2, 4, 5 and 6, 8, 9. So here if you combine all these subsets here, if you combine all these sets here, you will get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Means combining all the sets, combining all the elements of from the subsets, we can say that it is called universal set. So next we have power set. So the set of all subsets of A is called power set of A. So here we can say that the power set is denoted with P of A or by 2. So let us suppose if A has some elements, n elements in it, then P of A has 2 elements in it. So that means let us suppose here A is equal to 1, 2. So if A is equal to 1, 2, so power set we always represent with P of A. Then how many elements will exist here is the total subsets you will have. For example, here the possible combinations of all. So here 5, every set is a subset to itself. That's why here I have written 5 also. Next, 1 element you will get, 2 element you will get, and even 1, 2 also you will get. So that means altogether how many elements we have? 4 elements. That means it is based upon the number of elements in the set, that is 2 power 2. So 2 is nothing but number of elements in the set and always you will have it is denoted with 2. 2 power 2 is equal to total 4 elements will exist in the power set from the original set. So a set is never equal to its power set. Why? Because set will have 2 elements, power set always will have more than 2 elements, that is 2 square 4. So if you have 3 elements, 2 power 3, total 8 elements will exist in the power set. That's why here a set will never be equal to the power set. Next we also have disjoint set here. 2 sets A and B are disjoint sets if they have no common elements. So here let us suppose here A is equal to 1, 2, 3, B is equal to 4, 5. Now if you observe here, we don't have any common element if you do the intersection between A and B. So then I can say that A intersection B is equal to here 5, as we don't get any common element here. So then they are said to be disjoint sets. A and B are said to be here disjoint sets. And we also have comparable and non-comparable sets. So here when we can compare the sets, if you have any common elements. If you don't have any common element, so you cannot compare any elements here. So let us suppose here A and B any sets where we can take set A and set B, and they are said to be comparable if A is a subset to B or B is a subset to A. Means if at least one element is occurring in the next set, so that means if elements are occurring in the next set, we can say that they are comparable. So if they don't have any common elements, that means if they are not subsets, we cannot say that they are comparable elements here. So let A is equal to 1, 2, 3, B is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. Now here as 1, 2, 3 elements are existing in the set B, then I can say that A is subset to B. So here we have the definition. Either you can have A is subset to B or B is a subset to A. So as A is subset to B here, we can say that A and B are said to be comparable elements. Now if we observe here, next one is not comparable set. So set A and B are said to be not comparable. So when we can say that both are not comparable if they are not subsets, either A is not subset to B or B is not a subset to A. So here the same example, consider example A is equal to A comma B, B is equal to B, D, E, F, G. So here if we observe, A is not a subset to B. Why? Because A element is not there in the B, then I cannot say that A is a subset to B. And here more than two elements we have, then obviously B is not a subset to A. Then I can say that both are not subsets. So A and B are not comparable. So next we have multi-set. What is meant by multi-set? Collection of objects which are not necessarily distinct. Means you can have the same element multiple times. Then we can say that it is called multi-set. That means it is not mandatory that definitely you should have one element in different manner, means uniquely. So you can have the same element in multiple times here. So that is nothing but A comma A, B comma B, C comma C, or even D comma D comma D, or even E comma E comma E comma E, like that. So the same element, if multiple times it is occurring, then we can say that particular set is called multi-set. So this is about today's session. So what we have discussed in this session is today what is meant by set, what is the definition of the set here, what are the examples of the sets we have discussed, and we have also discussed what are not examples of the sets, and we have also discussed here how to represent the sets, what is the notation of the sets, how we can represent the elements of the set, and we have also discussed what are the different types of the sets. So this is all about today's session. So thank you.